Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I am going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play it as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why everything's happening the way that it is, why this person is triggering you. I mean, a lot of times we know why they're triggering us. We don't understand why we're attracted to someone that we really have strong feelings for, but is continually triggering us. And we're in a constant state of a polarity, which is part of us wants to be in the connection, but part of us does not want to be in the connection. And see, when you're stuck in between this phase of, well, my heart and my head is arguing and I want it, but I don't want it. Well, then what happens is nothing happens. And it's because, again, you're holding on to a cognitive dissonance. And so that's the thing. It's like when you're holding like two of the same thoughts, two of the opposite thoughts, rather, like, I want it, but I don't. So, like I said, this is what happens when we are connected to a karmic mate. This is how we know, because the relationship is difficult. You can have spiritual blocks in a soul mate life partner connection, and you're able to work through those blockages. The issue when you're with a karmic, they don't just keep that energy where, again, they're just in a state of confusion and they don't sit there and actually reflect. What they do is they act on that. That's how you know you're with a karmic, someone that acts on it. They don't know what to do. So when they don't know what to do, they're going to sabotage the connection. They're going to act like there's nothing there and then feed other energies. They're going to, again, because they don't know what they want. So again, holding on to a cognitive dissonance, that's what I feel like. You feel like you're connected to someone that doesn't know what they want. And I feel like, and because they stayed in this energy for so long, now you're like, I don't want this. Like at one point, you were like, I don't know what I want. It's depending on whether this person comes back in time. And I kind of feel like they procrastinated a lot. They didn't know what they wanted. Part of them didn't want to let go of karmic. That's for some of you. Part of them didn't want to change their life, whatever it is. Again, some of them could be living at home with their parents. Again, the karmic could be a parent, could be anybody, but they didn't want to change. They wanted to stay comfortable. They wanted you to change. And so I feel like this person, that you're connected to just had the opportunity to step it up and they chose that they didn't. Now, I don't know why I feel that. It's again, I don't know again when we started to channel into the reading, but I was again explaining to you what karmics do. So I clearly feel like you're connected to someone that's a karmic. And unfortunately, the majority of relationships are past life karmic mates, and these type of relationships have the power to come in and do a lot of damage. And they have a lot of power to do the damage because, the person feels like home. There's a familiarity. There's a lot of deja vus. There's a lot of, so again, they have a lot of power because there is this energy of unconditioned love. There's a want and there's a need, but on a spiritual level, really, we have that connection because there's a want and need to learn the spiritual lesson that this person is coming in with. Not because the divine cares whether we're with them. We always have free will to choose whether we want to be with someone or not. If a person is stuck in a low vibration, we're not expected to be with them because they're a soulmate. It's like a soulmate just is someone that can teach, comes into your life to teach you, show you something different about yourself or a situation. And I feel like you're connected to a past life karmic mate because I started to channel that before I even got finished with my introduction. All right, now if you want to enter into a winning free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video, it was always on the first card that I pull out, and it's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. I also kind of feel like there's a lot of manic energy, like all over the place. Emotional energy, emotional energy that when a person doesn't know what to do with their emotions, they become very manic. And it's because they can't control the situation. So they try to control their environment. So they may clean a lot. They may, again, all of a sudden go into bouts where they feel like super person because again they're cleaning, they're cooking, they're taking care of everything. They feel like it's a burst of energy, but it's really because this person is like, I feel like is in like a bipolar episode. Now I don't know why I'm feeling that, but feeling all this before I pull a card. So let's just see what the underlying energy is. By the way, life coaching is open. The link is in the description box along with all other important information. Readings are always open. So again, you can find all links to my website and everything else in that description box and the word of the video if you happen to forget it. So the word of the video is release fear of ancestral karma. It's actually more than one word today. And let's see what the other word is. You know, that's a lot right there. Just to release ancestral karma, it's like, oh, yeah. And it's again criticism. So I feel like the person stayed away from you because they wanted to avoid criticism. I do believe that again, the fear that they have inherited from their ancestors is just again very codependent relationships that are more of a karmic contract. And that's because when a person's so afraid of criticism is that they're wounded, right? We can deal with constructive criticism. Part of life, when we learn, we're getting constructive criticism. We don't know everything. We have to be open to it. So I feel like this person that's connected to you stayed away from you because you called them out on their behavior. And so instead of them trying to work things out, they were reactionary. And again, you hurt their ego. So what they did was they gaslit you by, again, staying away, stonewalling you, acting like they didn't care. I'm like, I'm never going to talk to you ever again. And I feel like they expected you to chase them. They expected you to fix it. But the fear of ancestral karma is the habits and the behaviorisms adopted by our parents. And so how our parents dealt with conflict. Again, what we see here is that your person, the person that's connected to you, is a runner. They have avoidance style attachment. They're not going to talk things out. They're going to punish you. They're going to punish you because you're making them feel bad. But you wouldn't be able to make this person feel bad if they weren't wounded. So again, the criticism, not being able to take it. The person is very closed-minded. And it's because again, they're in a very low vibration, and they're in a low vibration where I feel like this person doesn't like themselves. They're disgusted with themselves. There's a part of this person that loathes themselves. And that happens when we're basing ourselves on the experiences that we live, or when we have inherited ancestral karma, and that could be a poverty state consciousness and not really being that worldly and having addictions and having our parents have addictions, so they get in their own way. They have a hard time with their relationships. They have a hard time just in life. They feel inadequate. They feel like there's something wrong with them. So they inherited these core beliefs. And then unfortunately, when we see these core beliefs, we're also going to see habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with those beliefs. So we're going to see addictive behaviors. We're going to see a lot of times we're going to see infidelity. We're going to see somebody that has addictions. We're going to see somebody again that has these really deep wounds, because they're not just inheriting their wounds, they again have inherited all of ancestral wounds, which is 700 generations, it says in the Bible, of inherited karma, family karma, ancestral karma. And unfortunately, our ancestors lived through war. They lived through being slaves on the plantation. They've been persecuted, every single culture and religion. If you're Jewish, you know, again, the same thing. If you're Palestinian, the same thing. Like everybody, every single person has felt persecution, unfortunately, and has felt, again, like not safe. And so they've had to live from that level of consciousness of not feeling safe. And when people, again, feel this way, they form habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with that terror, with that fear. And so they don't get good results because we can't emulate who we want to be. We actually have to become who we want to be. Otherwise, when we emulate who we want to be, it's always like we feel like inadequate. We feel, again, almost like there's something wrong with us, defective. Almost like you have one arm longer than the other. You're trying to emulate someone else, embody that person's consciousness, where really Spirit's saying everyone has their own unique individuality. No one's here by mistake. Everyone's here by God's great universal design, the plan, that you are part of the plan. You are part of the healing by seeing yourself so little, so insignificant, by wrapping yourself up in like the drama in relationships, or again the things that we make so big in our life. And we make so big because we're blocked in those areas instead of looking at our life as a whole, that we get to be the expression of unconditional love, that we can again tap into our spiritual sovereignty and tap into this universal energy to become the expression of love by doing what we love. Where no, this person's still like walking around with the habits and the behaviorisms that collectively they were taught, and also what their ancestors and family have passed down. So of course they don't like it. No one likes it. It's like we get the story when we're born, we get the story of who we truly are, and then there's a real story of who we truly are. And God does that for its glory, for the universe's glory, to realize that you are part of the grand design, that you're looking at yourself too little. So again, when a person looks at themselves little, they're always going to overcompensate because no one wants to feel that way. But really what's underlining is the sorrow and sadness, because the person doesn't really feel that they're deserving of love. They feel like they can't have love because they've already lived the experience where they have inherited the ancestral karma and the family was in survival mode. They weren't nurturing, they weren't loving, especially if they had addictions and other things to deal with that trauma. So again, they wind up staying in a place of guilt where they create a lot of karma in their life. I feel like you're connected to someone that creates a lot of negative karma. And they do so because they never heal the baggage. So they're very easily manipulated because they've taken on the persona that they are their experiences. They haven't created new experiences, and they've walked from the level of consciousness that they perceive that they are, which is, I feel guilty. I feel like I'm not good enough. I should have been there. I could have, and I feel this person has a low confidence. And it's because the people that are in their environment, the people that raise them first and foremost, do this. And this is the passed down behaviorism, like when our parents call us stupid and they say, you got nothing going for you. And they insult and they shame you because of, could be anything. Some of you guys could have gotten pregnant before you were married, or could have, again, shame, your grades weren't good enough. You didn't do what they told. Again, shame comes from anywhere. But then when you walk from that level of consciousness of shame, there's a sense of feeling, I feel bad about myself. So this person feels bad about themselves. So they're very easily guilted. This is a person that's connected to you. Now you may resonate with some of the energy too by saying, like, I know I was raised by a parent that did the same thing. So you would have similar wounds. It wouldn't mean that your behaviorisms are channeled out the same way. However, we can see why you would be a magnet of this person, because it's what's imprinted on the subconscious mind. So we're going to look at the behaviors, and we're not going to see very nice behaviors. Like I said, what we see is what's driving this person. This person, again, has inherited the ancestral karma of guilt but again, it doesn't come out as guilt. It comes out as like just being very closed-minded, very triggered by, again, everything that you say that they're seeing, hearing it through, again, distorted perception through their wound of that you're criticizing them. that there's something wrong with them. But again, no one can make a person feel that way unless they feel about that way themselves anyway. So again, the criticism, not seeing it as constructive. So having a conversation with this person is next to impossible, because it was playing a place of like sadness, which leads to a place of you actually being disgusted, but this person disgusted with themselves because there's guilt. That's the underlying energy. So they don't really like what they manifest. You're not dealing with a person that's strong. Again, they feel inadequate, that they don't fit in. So they're like in their own little world. Again, that like a rebel without a cause. But what's deep down is that they feel that they need to be alone. This says they don't need to be alone. So again, the persona of I'd rather be rebellious. We're needing to appear different, like again, because the alternative is weak. The alternative is that there's something wrong with me. So all this is going on internally. So imagine being in a connection with this person. You're not going to get good results. Everyone would know that. And it's because they're deceiving, always trying to strategize, always trying to figure out like what they can do to like get over. And I say get over because a person that's continually strategizing, that is a rebel without a cause, that doesn't know who they are, is again, nothing's going to satisfy them. They may try and emulate your energy, but they're not going to get the same results. And then there'll be a sense of them punishing you again and just creating drama and then feeling guilty over it. So it's almost like this person never heals anything. It's like because they're always in this energy, this low vibrational energy and it's because they don't know what they want. And you would never know what you want if you don't know who you are. It's like, and you're guilted from the past. So then there's also a sense of, I don't believe I'm deserving of it because of everything that I did in the past. So any person that's around this person that's guilting them has full control and is puppeteering. But to you, they're not going to act like that. Again, they're going to overcompensate. They're going to be all self-righteous again, and they're going to judge you because, and if you say anything to them, they're going to be triggered. So what you see is someone that is overly sensitive, but when you're dealing with them, they're cocky. So you don't really know how to deal with them. And the reason why is because they're always trying to get over. And it's like, and part of that is just because I don't really know what I want. They're coming from the past. They're not in the moment now with you. They're not creating a connection with you. They're rebellious as that. I'm just being rebellious for the sake of being rebellious. I'm a bad boy, bad girl. No, I don't want to give it. It's like, but why? Because they don't want to build an emotional connection. That's why. Again, and part of that is this is what I said. You're going to see these addictions here. And that's why. Unhealthy choices that they make for themselves. That's really what it is. I know that's their escapism, their avoidance. So avoidance is we're talking to other people. Well, it's also drugs, alcohol. And so to stay in a place where they're like, again, disassociated, detached. And so again, easy for them to withdraw. So here it is, you're not in a relationship with this person. The way that you form emotional intimacy is by creating new experiences, by talking through your problems. What does this person do? They withdraw, they avoid, they hide. Again, and so what it is that this person like also is very needy. Very needy. So they need the constant attention. Otherwise, they get irritated, they get jealous. And so, again, try to create for your own life. It's like you're not paying enough attention to me. So this person will talk to a lot of different people because no one's going to give them the energy that they should be giving themselves. We have to pour into ourselves to fulfill ourselves. Otherwise, we are very easily manipulated by the environment, if we don't give ourselves that love, that passion. And that's by, connecting to different people. This person like feels inadequate because they're still walking around with what their parents told them. Again, they haven't created new experiences. They've stayed closed-minded. And in that, they never really feel fulfilled. They always have to deceive. because they're living from their emotional state, but this person is not emotionally intelligent, but they need the attention. So again, the attention needs to be on me all the time. So if it's on you, well, then I'm gonna like get triggered, because then there's a sense that they don't really believe that they can have it, because they don't like themselves. So they need that constant energy, which understand that makes them just want to dominate the entire connection, because, oh, I'm so insecure. I need all the attention on me. We are not giving enough attention. And if you're not giving me the attention, well, then whatever you're doing, I'm going to disrupt. That's the way I'm going to dominate you. I'm going to, again, but when you really need me for something, well, I'm going to withdraw. It's like, and if I go through a problem and I really don't want to share what's going on, again, because I feel inadequate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, escape, avoid, and again, stonewall you. Because, hey, you're going to want to talk about things that everything in the relationship will be fine. But again, I'm going to get triggered. This is this person, and I'm going to withdraw. And when I withdraw, this is when I check out and my addictions. So in order for me, this person to continue that type of behavior, they have to deceive. They have to get over. They have to, again, create distance, which is, again, this persona that they're a bad boy, bad girl. But the truth of the matter is they feel inadequate. They feel like they don't fit in. And that's, again, because of the energy that was put on them in childhood, the ancestral karma, the family karma. Again, still living from that perception. And so after a while, like clearly you had enough um of their energy, really. So we're gonna look and see how this person feels about you now, what they're thinking, which is again clouded vision. See, this person doesn't like, everything that they see is through distorted perceptions. It's like they're not self-aware. So it's almost like they're fragmented how they see things. So they're not seeing things through the correct perception. And when a person's wounded, they're going to see everything through that wound. So they're going to get triggered a lot. They're going to project a lot. And they're not confident enough to really talk about it with you. You know, this person doesn't want to be that transparent. It's like there's a part of this person that just wants wants to let it go. Like whatever disputes that you had, because it's like there's no energy movement here. It's like you've withdrawn because you're like, I'm not dealing with this. So it's like you laid this to rest by releasing it, by letting them go. And I feel like to heal, to help create healing. Like, and this is what this person feels. So they feel like, that first of all, they have clouded judgment, that they don't really see everything, and that's due to what they've gone through in the past. So they understand that there's something with them, but they also realize that you let go, that you're in a place of healing. And really, like it said, this person is still like tends to be very unstable. They lead by they're very impulsive. This is their wild at heart. This is what they know about them. In relationships, they can feel trapped. And it's not because they don't have feelings, but what happens is if you haven't created enough of an identity, then you're going to come in and you're going to overgive, you're going to overdo, you're going to lose yourself in the relationship. And if you feel inadequate, then there's always a sense of wanting to please, wanting to give, wanting to do. And then what happens is over time you get resentful because it becomes expected. It's not appreciated anymore. This is what happens in codependent relationships. So again, what this person doesn't like to do is get into relationships because they make promises in the very beginning of the relationship, and then they don't really want that. And so they feel like they're wild at heart, where really it's not everyone to be in a healthy relationship, you should have a lot of time by yourself. The majority of your time should be by yourself when you're dating. And then, yes, you set a time for that special person, but a lot of times people go right into this marriage type thing where it's you're talking to the person every day. The person's almost living at your house. It goes from one extreme to another, and then this person is like, I'm not happy. Well, they're not happy because they never created themselves enough. It's again, they're still walking around with this ancestral karma where they were taught that a healthy relationship is a codependent relationship, and then they don't understand why they can't make a relationship work after a certain amount of time. They go from extreme, they actually feel like there's something wrong with them. So it's not like this person doesn't have feelings for you. It's like because they wouldn't want to lay the problem to rest, but they feel like this is who I am, and I don't really feel like I can give you what you desire. And because I know that I don't really see everything the way that I should, that I've clouded vision, and that's because of this person has gone through many experiences that all produce the same karmic theme, which is victimization, betrayal, the energies of the root chakra when it's imbalanced triggers survival. And we're talking emotional survival. So growing up in a family where you didn't feel safe, they didn't create security, they didn't make you mentally and emotionally stable, because they like if you're growing up right away in a place of survival, well, this is where bipolar and manic energy come from. And then reading started off like before it ever even started this reading, so it was like very manic energy. And it's because it's like this person is feeling so many different emotions and not really know how to integrate or process those emotions. So it's like they know how to be in a relationship from the way that they feel comfortable, which is not a good relationship. It's one that they don't show up. It's like they're in, they're out. They're in, they're out because they're not strong within themselves. It's almost like this person would hope that like you can like they want there's a part of this person that wants peace. It says it again. So it's like they don't like what they produced here. But I feel like there's someone that would continually get in their own way. So it's almost like this person wants you to use understanding, have greater emotional balance. What I said is that this person is not emotionally balanced. And in order, because they're not, and they do all these things that are in alignment with their imbalance, of course, it triggered you where you're like, I'm not comfortable. So this person knows that this connection is really out of alignment right now, so they want to get it back to a place of peace, but they know who they are. So if you want to know where they are, it's like they don't really know if they could be good enough for you. They don't know whether they can be consistent, do what you want them to do. I feel like this person tends to be childish. Like I said, they're childish. They like the relationship to not be serious. It's like because again, that means that they don't have to be held accountable. And you're like in a place where you're like, I don't really want to be in a relationship like that. So it comes down to this person knowing I would need to grow up. And I don't know whether I can be in alignment with what you want. So it's again, and that is also a choice of theirs. So, like I said, and they already know that you're going to like read between the lines, like you're not going to really like not like really carefully assess them and the situation. So here's this person that doesn't know whether they want to grow up. They're a child, and here it is. It's like you would be the parent, and they know that almost like, are you gonna do that? It means that you have to read between the lines. You have to like really carefully, uh, watch what this person is doing, and they have to actually be present enough to create their own ending instead of create the same thing that they have, which is a part of them, this person that's comfortable. And that's what you don't realize. So it wouldn't be that easy. It would be a hard climb for this person because, again, half of them, half the time, I should say, they are not present. They go through life on autopilot. So it's like not being awake, again, falling back into their addictions. Again, they know that they would have to give that up. So again, it goes back to in a fog, like fear, obligation, guilt. So again, having maybe somebody around them that guilts them, that makes them stay in this energy, or just whatever past relationship that they had that didn't work out. There's just so much guilt that this person is like, I'm not going back into another relationship because I know that I am not going to grow up. I'm not going to be able to hold to your level. And though I have feelings for you, I would need you to lower your boundary. That's not something that you're going to do. So it really is making this person know that there's a lesson, and really like figure out what that lesson is. It's about healing, because it's like there's feeling the karmic cord, but what you see is that this person doesn't want to do what it's like they don't want to do. And they say that they can, and part of it is, well, I want to be comfortable. And so if that's who they are, is that they're not healed. They would never give you enough. And what I think that this person has came to the conclusion that, hey, you're not going to bow down. You're not going to come forward. You're not going to say, I'm going to take half. You're not going to do any of that. This person knows they have to come in correct or don't come in at all. They've only created horrific relationship experiences. So in that, it's like there's a part of them that doesn't really believe that they can have it. The ancestral karma is, this is what I grew up in. This is what I produce. So this is my reality. But they can create their own ending, but they choose not to because they want to, again, hold on to the addictions which they inherited, which is, again, the self-righteous energy and staying in a low energy with their addictions and their substance abuse and not really showing up and creating these personas of who they are. But again, all it does is cuts them off from having true relationships. So they have major intimacy issues, and this person is so fragmented, but then they're the person that is like they're the person that is like has the most issues, and they want to act like they're the authority. They're the person that's the weakest, has the most spiritual blocks, but they want to be in control. They want to dominate. And the reason why is because then I can stay in my low vibrational energy. And that's, doing what I want to do when I really want to do it. And where it's again, where some of them might even trick you into thinking that they were balanced because they excel within their career. Like they're actually an overachiever where like they'll work, or that's the persona that they want to create. While others of you, this person sees you as an overachiever, and that there's an energy of comfort. But I do feel like this person tends to like excel within work. So and that's this codependency of an avoidance. When a person is not in good relationships, it's like they'll throw themselves into that area and they channel it, but it's really a sense of lack. And there will be always a sense of lack because the person spends their money on substances. They're not fulfilled. There may be an overachiever, but it's almost like, again, running after the dopamine hit, to make more money, to make more money, to make more money, which we're not down here to just accumulate money. We're down here to be the expression of love. Where this person's so blocked off in love, they don't really believe that they can have it. They stay in a low vibration. So they'll always be in a place of lack. So even if they have money, I feel like this person has lost a ton of money, and they've lost a ton of money through divorces. They lost a lot of money through their addictions and just through living frivolously and like being overindulgent, trying to fill themselves due to the fact of lack, not working on themselves, not using their money to grow, not utilizing their money to like, become something. It's more or less like, again, the persona that they would like, to create, and oh, how they would feel so desirable, right? And so, and for some, this person is actually the people that they do have in their life. They'll be a martyr, and that's just giving up so much of their time and their energy to like help people so they're seen as good, especially if they are controlled by people in their environment that are guilting them, right? And if they've inherited a lot of ancestral karma and they get into karmic contracts with people, well, then they haven't created good experiences with those people, and those people now are able to guilt them. But that's the ancestral karma of not really being mindful, and not being mindful because they're not present, and they're not present because they check out. And this is what this person is. And that's why they're always in a place of victimhood. It's like it's everybody else's fault because they never really learn. And in the fact that they never learn, we see that they keep living these karmic loops, and where again all they do is project. That's what they do. They project their like, again, it's not my fault. They say that, this is what you're doing, you're not giving to me, when really it's like what we see is that this person not really giving to you. So, and that's because they just keep bringing their baggage into like the new relationship. They get rid of the relationship, they create a whole new environment, they might even get a new apartment, change cities, change states, but it's again, they create the same exact experience, which is what makes this person again don't like believe that they really can't have. So they feel like they're a bad person, they're easily guilted, they martyr themselves out, but they don't show you that part. They show you a different version of themselves. And so again, at the end of the day, this person just doesn't know who they are, and they're just full of fear and don't really believe that they can have love because of the fact that they don't learn. They stay in an energy of victimhood, and so that means that they're holding on to the energy of lack. They try to escape that again through outside things, and being an overachiever is one. You possibly met this person when they were in that energy, and not seeing that they had all these, addictions, and that really they don't know what they want. So, their way is they want love. They want you to emotionally give everything. They want you to, but there's a part of this person that like doesn't know whether they can actually rise to your level. And it's because again, they're comfortable, they're lazy. And so you're balanced, and you're going to know if somebody is not balanced, if this person's too impulsive to be balanced. And that's because they live by their addictions, their emotions. And if they have a bad day, well, it's again, this person doesn't have like enough of who they are to create the balance in their life. Their balance is they create the balance by avoiding. So they suppress their emotions. And we know that through, again, this energy, and also this energy. And so the person never learns. They stay in a place of victimhood and they project, but then they feel bad about themselves. So they'll be the martyr, and they'll come in and they'll fix it. But that's still like an energy that is not who they are. They either don't give anything, or they all have to overcompensate. They never have balance in their life. So again, you're going to be dealing with somebody that's extremely emotionally all over the place. And they may not be able to express it. So it might be look like a lot of passive aggressive energy, a lot of passively and in that. And I feel like you just got to the point where you're like, I'm like tired of you like waiting and trying to make me like conform to what you want. You're getting impatient with this person because it's like there's a sense that you know that they don't really want to grow. And but so instead of like not growing, they but like make you try to make you feel as if you're rejected. But the truth is that this person feels rejected, and it's all comes back to like the ancestral karma. So it's again, I don't see that you could even have a connection with this person because they'd always have like play games. The relationship would always be too hard. This person has too big of an ego, and they would make you feel as if you were just a conquest. I mean, that relationships don't need to be a struggle. This person like has to again win at any cost, and they like it when people drown in their emotions over them. So eventually the relationship always comes to the person leaving them behind because they leave the relationship in ruins. It's like they can't have the relationship. You can try and be in a relationship with this person, but it might be passionate for a certain amount of time, but the moment that you have a problem in it, they're going to escape. They're not going to, again, be, you know, they're not capable. And the more that you try and like read into this person, and the more that you try and like find out about this person and heal this person, it's like you go down the rabbit hole. It never ends. It's like they have so much suppressed things, like they could have had like a parent like rape them or like molest them. Like we see heavy duty trauma here. It's like again, and even if it was their parent that was in this karmic contract, is that they could have watched their parent be raped. They could have watched their parent be beaten and like inherited that, but then also inherited all the beliefs and all the core, the like I said, the core beliefs and the habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with those core beliefs, even if they didn't go through that experience. But I believe that this person, like I said, it's not possible for them to be in a relationship. They sabotage the connection. It's like, and they'll always make it feel, you feel as if it's you. And it's a way that they don't heal. So they might, stay in a relationship for a certain amount of time and be the martyr, but they don't really want to be in that energy either forever. So it's this person either betrays or they act like the fixer. And I feel like in your life, they didn't even do that. It's like they just betrayed you. They weren't the fixer, and they weren't the fixer because I feel like they were still cleaning up a previous mess. Or if they already cleaned it, they were still holding on to that experience. Like, and again, a victimization, like I can't have it because everybody turns against me. Everybody, where this person doesn't want to take responsibility for what they do. It's like if they're the main, like they're the common denominator in all their experiences, they have to again take responsibility. And there's a part of this person that doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to do it. It's easy for them to like stay lazy, to stay childish. We have to say, why would you attract a person like this into your life? What does spirit want to teach you? Hopeful 6, self-sabotage. Being with this person would definitely be self-sabotaging. Cleansing. That's actually a gift. Neglect. Suppression. Hope. And oppression. Well, look at that. That's like really keeping you down. So I'm gonna pull two from the fearless deck. Then we'll read it all together. Be vulnerable. and rise above. So let's see. So your inner child wounds, obviously, like self-sabotaging behavior happens from when we don't feel loved. It's again when we again have shame. And so, and also feeling as if we're not deserving of it. And if you were brought up in an environment where you were neglected, suppressed, and oppressed, it's again, you were gaslit. So that's psychological trauma. So you might have said, well, I am this type of person. And your family was like, no, you're not. Or like, I want to go to school to do this. No, you're not. It's again, being held back, being told who you are. Somebody keeping you held back also by psychologically and emotionally manipulating you. Like goes to like. So remember, hurt people are family. That's what they grew up with. That trained behavior of controlling to the point that it's oppressive and then getting triggered and then suppressing you where you weren't allowed to have a voice, and this neglect of like what was important to you. Well, you were neglected and then you had to do what was best for with the family, I feel like, or what that parent wanted, but you didn't get anything the emotionally back. And so self-sabotage is when we tend to, go for the same types of people. Like we have too much hope for a person. Like hope is a good thing, but it can't be blind hope. Like we have to take into consideration exactly who we're dealing with. What we saw here is that this person couldn't really give to you because again, they're still being emotionally manipulated by people in the background, or they're still holding on to this trauma from a previous relationship and they're just not ready. So they're gonna neglect you, but being with this person that doesn't give anything, being with a person that doesn't know how to have a conversation when there's a problem, this person that can't be in a relationship. Like you said, it's the more that you would know, find out, the more that you go down the rabbit hole. What you can't be in a relationship with them because they escape. Everyone winds up leaving because they leave the relationship in ruins. This person is too impulsive, and their feeling of lack would always again make them be like, you need to give me more energy, you need to make me feel better, you need to, and then your feelings would be again neglected. So it's the same energy of what you were brought up in, which is my needs get neglected, and and I'm always suppressed and oppressed. I'm just supposed to have this blind hope. But really, it's again, when I do, it's like I self-sabotage myself because I'm not listening to what I know. It's what more or less what like the environment's telling me. It's like what I feel like maybe this is the only choice. Maybe I can change this person. But really, Spirit's saying it's like it's usually the I can change this person. Where here it is that this person's so afraid they would suppress you again, that they can't be in a regular relationship. So, and Spirit's saying, so you would actually repeat the same thing, like that same type of experience, karmic theme that you grew up in, of feeling held back, oppressed, being neglected, emotionally neglected, and and self-sabotage yourself because there's a feeling like you can't have it, and being overstimulated during times that again you can have it, that you get in your own way. It's again, so Spirit's saying you need to cleanse that energy, and you can cleanse that energy by seeing yourself differently. And part of it is to be vulnerable, be open to healing your faults and to true strengths, and understand the way that you do that is by embracing your authenticity. Someone again suppressed you, oppressed you, you aren't allowed to be authentic, your authentic self. Someone didn't like that. Someone said, oh, you're too sensitive, or you're too artistic, or you're too gay, you're too this, you too that, you too black, you too white, you too, like whatever it was, you couldn't embrace it. And Spirit saying, you have to embrace it. You have to be vulnerable, and that means I'm going to be my true self, and I don't care who likes it. Spirit saying, and that's a walk, and that can happen through your soul's path. So being open to the healing, your false is your true sense, embrace your authenticity, and you rise above. See beyond your immediate fears to get more insight, elevate your perspective. So again, did that happen to you? Yes, you were oppressed, you were suppressed, you were held back. You were made to feel like not loved if you were neglected. You were made to feel not important. You were made to feel that way. However, Spirit says that was then, this is now. It's about you cleansing that energy by rising above it and seeing things from a spiritual perception, saying that the family that raised you, like they were so full of fear due to what the collective karma that they inherited by their own ancestral karma, that they got triggered. They got triggered because they projected a lot of their trauma onto you, because that's what happens. So it's almost like you paid for what someone else did to someone else. So it's almost like like you paid for like someone sabotaged your mother and you paid for it on a karmic level. It's like you get together with this person and you'll be paying for whatever the person did previously to this person, because this person's in victim state consciousness. They never heal. They know what they did. They still don't heal. It's like instead they project and they hide from what they do. They avoid it. So they haven't healed anything. They've avoided it through their substances. They've avoided it through outside things. So even though there's a connection, you would pay for it. You would pay for what the previous person did, because this person is bringing in all their baggage. And that's how you would self-sabotage yourself, because this person doesn't know who they are. They're just full of trauma. So of course, everything that you do is going to trigger this person. So they're going to oppress you, they're going to suppress you, and they're going to neglect you because of that, where you just have to rise above. Spirit saying that the person was spiritually sick. You are not how this person treated you. You did not deserve that. And understand the way that you display that you don't deserve it is, again, to embrace your authenticity, find it, celebrate it, create it, find yourself. It's, again, that's how you can be vulnerable. It's like that's how you have deep, intimate connections, not through, again, like going back to this person, because this person is not healed. That's what Spirit says. This person was to awaken a wounds that you have inside of you, to awaken like really the fact that you didn't feel like you could be vulnerable. Maybe you have a closed heart and you have trust issues, and Spirit says this is about you like being your true person, because when you are an expression of love, that's really will transcend the limitations of your mind, and no one can suppress you or oppress you and control you, or you won't be neglected either, because you're connected to other people in the universe. You're connected to God through the act of creation, the universe, right? The universe brings you the people, the situations, and the experience to help heal you. You transcend the limitations of your mind through the act of creating, and that's how you can, again, be vulnerable, because vulnerability means that you can trust. And so we show that we trust ourselves, we trust the universe, we trust in our intuition, which is the higher self, and that is the universe that's speaking through us, and that is the energy of God. So we're protected. So we have to see things through this spiritual perception in order to let go. So the spiritual test was, again, to not be with someone that literally that they're not capable. They need to do healings. And this is how you get more vitality. Spirit says, know that you're a being of light. Accept the divine energy in your body, and every one of your cells regenerates. We're going to pull another one, and which is learning to love myself. I choose to see the beauty in me. My wealth lies in my nature and potential. I transform my weaknesses into strengths. I realize that I am a being of light, and I allow myself to shine. So again, learning to love yourself is what really gives you vitality. When we have those spiritual blocks, it's where we cut ourselves off from unconditional love, right? The shadows are what blocks us from seeing where our light is. And our light is part of our individuality. And when you really know who you are, and when you are creating yourself, again, there's a story of who you think you are, then there's this real story of who you truly are. And we, again, find our unfoldment process, our unique unfoldment process by, again, just living our life and feeding our what we love to do. This is how we learn to love ourselves. This is what clears these spiritual blocks and these shadows that has cut us off from the energy of unconditional love. So at the end of the day, that's what this spirit made you go through this situation so that you can rise above to see it from a different perception, which would allow you to actually heal your inner child wounds where you were oppressed and were suppressed. And Spirit says the illusion was that somebody could take what was yours. The illusion is that someone would ruin you by neglecting you and oppressing you and suppressing you. And those experiences really happened, but they're not happening now. You would self-sabotage yourself by going into a connection with a person that's not healed that would actually do the same exact things. So this triggered you, but it allowed you to transcend back to your inner child wounds, to be able to rise above, to see a different perception of your parents so that you can actually then really transmute that negative energy by, again, being vulnerable, by creating yourself, by embracing your unique authenticity, by finding really who you are. And that's what Spirit says, instead of walking around still as if you're the perceptions of what your reality told you in childhood. Spirit says that's why you had to date this person and be with this person, to see a different version of yourself. I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. You let me know how you resonated with this one. Don't forget to check out the description box, all important information, website for readings, as well as a lot of free resources. Check it out, as well as, again, my life coaching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.